Welcome to my channel. So in this slot, we're going to discuss our forecast question for the SPM 2022. Right. So we start with the first part. So this is a tip. So please remember, study all the chapter. All right. So we go for first point. So under paper 2 section A, please go through polymer, proton number, nuclear number, isotope, heating and cooling curve of naphthalene, and even student also can remember alloy. Right, so second question will be periodic table. Draw the electron arrangement for the compound CCl4, carbon dioxide, magnesium oxide. And the third question will be electrolysis under factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, plus with volatile cell, potential differences, electroplating, drawing, and also the RF equation that occur at anode and cathode. All right, the fourth question will be thermal decomposition of metal nitrate. And the next question will be neutralization, conversion of carbon compound. Please focus on fermentation process, combustion of alkane. All right, so a dehydration process, hydration process, oxidation process, and also esterification. So please focus on glass, alloy, ceramic, advanced ceramic, traditional ceramic, superconductor, even reinforced concrete, heat of displacement or heat of neutralization, soap, detergent, fat and oil, modern medicine, food additive and cosmetic. All right, so under section B, which say questions, so please focus on rate of reaction factor, concentration, catalyst and temperature, and size of reactant. All right, so collision theory, compare the rate of reaction between set 1 or set 2 or experiment 1, experiment 2, polymer, coagulation of latex, elasticity of vulcanized and unvulcanized rubber or natural rubber, chemical bonding, the formation of ionic bonding, covalent bonding, or the dative bonding. All right, so and one more will be hydrogen bonding, the application of hydrogen bonding. All right, next will be soluble salt, insoluble salt, preparation of soluble salt that not containing K and ion, thermal decomposition of lead to nitrate, copper to nitrate, and the conformity test. All right, under section C, redox reaction factor 1 versus factor 2, factor 1 E naught value versus factor 2, which is concentration, U tube cell, or heat of neutralization, heat of displacement. These are the essay question can come out for the SPM 2022. And overall, this is the tips only, so please focus on everything and try to do revision. All right, so we go for an important definition. So this year the important definition that student must remember what is mean by chemistry. Chemistry, the word originated from Arabic word known as alchemia, is a chemistry is a field of science that focus on four-part structure, properties, composition, and interaction between matter. All right, so state the definition of isotope is very important. Isotope, atoms of same element which show same number of protons but different number of neutron. Isotope shows same chemical properties but different physical properties. All right, number 3, go for definition for the relative atomic mass, average mass of an atom of an element when compared with 1 over 12 times mass of one carbon atom. Please study why carbon. Carbon 12 is used as standard atom. All right, so we move on to the next part, empirical formula, simplest ratio, the chemical formula that shows simplest ratio of all number of atoms of each elements that present in a compound. All right, so student must remember definition of period. Period stand for the horizontal row of element in the periodic table, and also group stand for vertical column of the element in the periodic table. Additive bonding is a special type of covalent bond where the electron pair that shares is come from only one atom. And please remember, example of additive bonding can be seen in hydroxonium ion and also in ammonium ion. Equation number 7, the meaning of hydrogen atom are the attraction forces between the hydrogen atom that has been bonded with highly electronegative atoms such as NOF, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine atom. All right, so we move on to the next. What is mean by strong acid? Strong acid, an acid that ionizes completely in water, producing high concentration of hydrogen ion. Please remember, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid is the example of strong acid. Definition of salt. Salt is an ionic compound that form when the hydrogen ion from acid is replaced by any metal ions or ammonium ion. The definition of rate of reaction is very important for this year. So general definition, change in the quantity of reactant per unit time taken, or change in the quantity of product per unit time. All right, so please focus on alloy. So alloy is a mixture of two or more elements where the main element will be metal. All right, and please focus on pH value. Also, pH value refers to the scale number to measure degree of acidity or alkalinity of an aqueous solution based on the concentration of the hydrogen ion. And number 13, displacement, not heat of displacement, displacement of metal can be seen in redox reaction. Alright, so chemical reaction where more electropositive metals such as magnesium or zinc can displace less electropositive metal from its salt solution. Alright, so we move on to the next part. What is mean by standard electrode potential? Standard electrode potential is initial differences produced when an equilibrium is established between metal and its ion aqueous solution in a half cell. Alright, we try to do few questions. Look at this question. Alright, so here they put fireworks look attractive, especially at night. Attractive color are caused by mixture of chemical at fireworks. Fireworks look beautiful. How does it produce attractive color? Based on conversation, what is chemistry? Chemistry is a field of study that focus on structure, properties, composition, and interaction among matter. So the suitable answer will be A. So we try to check the question number B. Interaction, structure, properties, composition, and interaction between mass. Wrong. Alright, so we go for next question. Next point. Next point number C, structure, properties, composition, interaction among matter. So this one also can be correct. Alright, so we go for next one. Chemistry is a field of studies that structure, properties, composition, interaction between mass. So this will be wrong. So we try to check question number A. Chemistry is a field of science that studies structure, properties, composition, and interaction among matter. Alright, we try to check as a field of chemistry that study the structure, properties, composition, and interaction between the matter. So we have these 2 points that student must remember. So we try to check chemistry is a field of science. All right, so please check this, a field of science. So the suitable answer will be A. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Try to check this question. What is a standard electrode potential? Standard electrode potential is known as potential differences produced when an equilibrium is established between metal and its ions of aqueous solution in a half cell. So the answer will be A. Alright, so we try to check this one. What is mean by dative bonding? A bond formed by strong van der Waals force between metal and non-metal. Wrong. A bond formed between metal atom transfer electron to the non-metal atom. So this is ionic compound. So wrong. The electron pair that shares comes from one atom only. This is the suitable answer. Alright, with point number D, electron pair that is shares comes from different 2 atoms. So the suitable answer will be C. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Right, dear students, please focus on electrolysis. Electrolysis is a process whereby compound in molten or aqueous state decomposes into its constituent element by passing electricity through them. Alright, what is mean by saturated hydrocarbon? The hydrocarbon contains only single covalent bond between the carbon atoms. So we go for point number 17. What is mean by isomer? Molecules that have same molecular formula but different structural formula. Alright, so next, heat of precipitation. Heat change when 1 mole of precipitate formed from its ions in the aqueous solution. Heat of displacement, heat change when 1 mole of metal ion is displaced from its salt solution by a more electropositive metal. Heat of neutralization, heat change when 1 mole of water molecule is formed between acid and alkali. Alright, so heat of combustion, heat change when 1 mole of substance, which is alcohol or alkane is burned completely, alright, in excess of oxygen under standard condition. Alright, so we go for polymer. Very important definition that student must remember. Polymer is a long chain molecule that made from a combination of many small repeating basic unit known as monomer. Alright, known as monomers. Alright, so we move on to the next one. What is mean by vulcanization process? Is a process of forming sulfur. Alright, sulfur cross-link between the polymer chain of rubber molecule to produce rubber that is more elastic, better quality than natural rubber. What is mean by cosmetic? Cosmetic is a chemical substance that used externally for cleansing, protect, produce nice smell, and enhance one's appearance. Alright, so nanotechnology is a development of substance or gadget using the properties of nanoparticle. As definition, what is mean by green technology is the development and the application of product, equipment, and a system to conserve the environment in order to minimize the negative effects from the human activity. Alright, so these are the definition, most important definition that student must remember. We move on to the next part. Try to study all the history. So we have under development of atomic structure and predictable. So I'll move to the development of atomic structure. John Dalton is the person introduced atom in spherical shape, cannot be created or destroyed. Alright, so J.J. Thomson is the person introduced electron. Alright, spare and several electron in it. Alright, so next one, Ernest Rutherford is the person introduced proton, and he said nucleus is at the center of an atom. And the next person, Niels Bohr, is the person who introduced shell. Electron in atom move in shell around the nucleus. Electron orbit the nucleus in a fixed shell. All right, and the last person who introduced neutron is known as James Chadwick. He discovered neutron. All right, is discover neutron, and neutron present in the nucleus of an atom. Neutron contribute almost half of the mass of an atom, and persons that contribute for the development of atomic structure. And we try to move on to the question. All right, so which of the following statement is true about the model proposed by the Ernest Rutherford? Atom was described as a pair of positive charge embedded with electron. This is J.J. Thomson. All right, the nucleus of an atom contains proton and neutron. This one is introduced by James Chadwick. The nucleus of an atom contains proton. This is the one introduced by Ernest Rutherford. Is the person introduced proton. The nuclear electron in an atom move in a shell around the nucleus. This is introduced by Niels Bohr. So the answer will be C. Alright, we move on to the next development of the predict table. So under predict table, we have total 6 person A, D, J, L, M, M. Alright, so please remember Anton Lavoisier is introduced a classify element into 4 group, and Johann Dobeiner is introduced triad law. Alright, triad law. John Newland introduced octave law, and the person who plotted graph is known as Lothar Meyer. Dmitry Mendeleev is arranged the element according to increasing order of relative atomic mass, and the person is known as father of modern periodic table is Henry Moseley. He arranged the element according to ascending or increasing order of proton number. All right, so we try to check the first person on Anton Lavoisier. He classified element into 4 group: gases, non-metal, metal, and metal oxide. Johann Dobeiner, he classified element, he introduced triad law. All right, so 3 elements, each triad consists of 3 elements. John Newland, he introduced the law of octave. All right, so the Lothar Meyer is the person plotted graph atomic volume against the mass. All right, so Dmitry Mendeleev, we classify the element with similar chemical properties into the same column. He arranged the element according to increasing order of relative atomic mass or atomic mass. All right, so we go for last person. Henry Moseley is the person who found the proton number. He arranged the element according to increasing order of proton number. We try to check few questions. So look at this question. Element are arranged in order of increasing order of atomic mass or relative atomic mass in the periodic table. So the answer will be Dmitry Mendeleev. All right, so we try to check this question. So element with the similar chemical properties were placed in the same vertical column. A left gap for the undiscovered element. So this person is known as Dmitry Mendeleev. He classified the element with similar chemical properties into the same column. So the suitable answer will be Dmitry Mendeleev. All right, so we move on to the next part. Alright, dear students, please check the important chemical equation. If you can try to practice the important chemical reaction. So the reaction between magnesium react with oxygen. So please make sure put magnesium atom react with oxygen. So we will get magnesium oxide. And make sure balance the equation. I balance oxygen 2. So I put 2 here. So next will be magnesium 2. So magnesium 2. Alright, and try to check the copper 2 oxide react with dry hydrogen gas. Alright, if let's say group 1 metal, please remember all group 1 metal has positive 1 ion. So react with water. So how to do this equation? So I'll do here group 1 metal react with water. So here they didn't give the actual symbol, so they give the symbol that not represent the actual symbol. So take out the ion X positive, break the water, hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion. During chemical reaction, this one will join, so it will produce alkaline solution. When hydrogen single, make it hydrogen gas. So how to balance this equation? When we are facing problem in balancing equation, just put 2 in front here. So we balance X2. Next we balance oxygen 2, we put oxygen 2. So the hydrogen here, hydrogen will be 2, here got 2, so total 4. So the hydrogen will be 4. All right, so we move on to the next part. Please remember point number 4. Chlorine react with iron wool. So please put iron wool Fe. Chlorine, don't put like this. Chlorine Cl2 exists as diatomic molecule. Please take out Fe3 positive because the product form is a brown color product. All right, so chlorine Cl negative, during chemical reaction they join, so we will get FeCl. Take the 3, put here. All right, so how to balance the equation? We erase all these. How to balance the equation? We check here 3 2. So we do 2 times 3 6, 3 times 2 6, iron 2. All right, so we try to practice on question number 8. All right, chlorine react with water. So please remember chlorine react with water. So I put water here. So how to get the product? We take out the chlorine, we break the chlorine, H, we break OH, please cancel this, put HO. All right, during chemical reaction, this and this join, so we will get HCl, and this one will join here, HOCl. All right, so please remember this is a strong bleaching agent. Hypochlorous acid is a strong bleaching agent. When we place a blue litmus paper, it will turn to red and bleach or and white color. Right, so please remember all this, and we move on to the next part. When chlorine react with alkaline solution like sodium hydroxide, how to do the equation. So please remember, chlorine react with sodium hydroxide, so please put 2 here. We take out one sodium hydroxide, we take out another sodium hydroxide, so one will undergo complete ionization, so here we will get NaOH. Another one, we just break the H, we put here H, and we take the NaO, we put here NaO, and this chloride 1Cl, another Cl, this hydrogen combined with hydroxide, so we will get water molecule. All right, so we erase this. All right, next one, we take the Cl, Na join with Cl, so we will get NaCl. We take the Cl, we put here, so it will produce sodium hypochlorous. All right, so these are the product that student must remember, so please practice on this part. All right, so next, when lead 2 nitrate is heated, please remember we will get lead 2 oxide, metal oxide, brown color gas. So please remember this gas is known as a brown color gas, all right, and colorless gas. All right, so try to practice on this reaction. So please remember, whenever we have acid here, so this reaction is known as neutralization, and please remember this metal should be reactive metal like magnesium or zinc. All right, okay, if less reactive metal, please remember to put no reaction. So for example, I'll take a hydrochloric acid, react with less reactive metal, so please remember this copper is less reactive metal, so therefore the answer will be no reaction. Hydrogen peroxide decomposes. All right, decomposes, so we write hydrogen peroxide decomposes, so take the oxygen, put here, and we write down the hydrogen peroxide like this, and we erase the 2. All right, how to balance the equation? We put 2 here. All right, so then we balance the hydrogen 4, rest is balanced. And please remember, this hydrochloric acid react with sodium thiosulfate. The product that we will get is a yellow color precipitate. All right, so magnesium react with copper 2 sulfate. This reaction is known as displacement reaction, and this is soluble salt. Okay, plus with another soluble salt, potassium iodide, it will give us insoluble salt. All right, and soluble salt, and this insoluble salt is known as yellow color precipitate, and the name of the salt is known as lead 2 iodide. All right, and next question is known as displacement of halogen, so please practice on this part. We move on to the next part. We go for important half equation that student must remember. Please remember, under electrolysis, right? So under electrolysis, the anode will act as positive terminal. The process that occur at anode is oxidation. If let's say the ion oxidize, hydroxide ion is oxidized as anode, please put, remember, 4 orang utan. Alright, makan 2 biji orange, minum 2 gelas air, and 4 apple. So the product form is oxygen. If let's say chloride ion, bromide ion, iodide ion, make sure put 2 form chlorine gas plus 2 electron donated. Alright, so next, bromide ion, please put 2 in front of bromide ion, so it will produce bromine molecule, and also it will release or donate 2 electron. Iodide ion, it will form iodine molecule plus 2 electron. If oxide ion, please put 2 in front. Alright, it will form oxygen molecule, and it will lose here 2 times 2, 4 electron. Alright, and please remember, all these we must put 2 because all these molecule exist as diatomic molecule. And try to practice on here the only half equation and also observation. If oxygen is released, the observation will be colorless gas bubbles which relights glowing wooden splinter is released. Alright, if chlorine greenish yellow gas bubbles is released, bromine is a brown color solution will produce. Alright, so if cathode, under electrolysis, cathode is known as negative terminal. The name of the process occur at cathode reduction. Reduction means gain electron or accept electron. If copper 2 ion, alright, gain 2 electron, it will form copper atom, brown solid deposited. Alright, under factor 1, if factor 3, the electrode become thicker. Alright, brown solid deposited, intensity of blue color become paler for factor 1. If factor, alright, so we move on to the next part. Alright, we move on to the next part. Okay, we move on to the question number, oxidizing agent. So please remember, important oxidizing. Alright, oxidizing agent undergo reduction. Reduction means what? It gain electron. The famous oxidizing agent acidify potassium manganate 7. So we take the hydrogen ion and also this ion, manganate 7 ion. Potassium ion already achieve stable octet electron arrangement. Therefore, it will act as observation ion. So how to do the half equation? We take the manganate ion, MnO4 negative. We take the hydrogen ion. Alright, so it will accept electron, alright, and form mangan 2 positive plus this hydrogen ion oxide ion combine, it will form water molecule. Balance the oxygen 4, I put oxygen 4, hydrogen 8, hydrogen 8. Alright, so please check the oxidation number of mangan in manganate 7 ion, it will be positive 7 change to positive 2. That means how many electron has been accepted? 7 minus 2, that will be 5 electron. So we need to put 5 electron here. Alright, so next oxidizing agent is known as acidify potassium dichromate 6. Is an orange color solution. So we put here orange color solution. The observation, orange color solution will turns to green color. Here potassium ion act as observation ion. So we only need dichromate 6 ion. So we put Cr2O72 negative plus we take the hydrogen ion we put here. It will accept electron and form chromium 3 positive plus we take the hydrogen and oxide, we combine together and it will produce water molecule. We try to balance chromium 2, so I'll put 2 here. Alright, then we balance the oxygen 7, so I put 7, hydrogen will be 14. How many electron will be accepted? So the chromium will be Cr6 positive, we take the 6 we put here. Alright, so why we get 6? Because one chromium forms Cr3 positive, another chromium 6 positive, right? Cr3 positive, we have 2 chromium here, so 6 minus 3, that will be 3 electron, 6 minus will be 3, so that will be 3 electron, total electron will be 6 electron. So try to practice on this part. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Remember, next under chemical formula and name of the compound can come out in the objective question. So we go for ammonium carbonate. So try to check ammonium carbonate. The formula of ion will be ammonium ion NH4 positive, carbonate ion CO32 negative. So the formula, make sure write down the Barney bracket and try to get the formula. Alright, lead 2 nitrate. So we have lead 2 ion and also nitrate ion. So we combine the ion like this. We take the 2 we put here. So we put bracket like this. Alright, iron 3 chloride is made up of iron 3 ion and chloride ion. So the formula FeCl3. Alright, so please remember sulfur atom. Alright, sulfur, when they put sulfur atom, so we put S. When they put sulfur molecule, we must put S. Alright, when we put phosphorus atom, the formula will be P. Alright, so please remember formula will be P. So when they put phosphorus molecule, the formula will be P4. Alright, so chlorine gas, please write the formula Cl2. Even bromine, please write Br2. I2. All these exist as diatomic molecule. Alright, so we go for tetrachloromethane. The formula will be CCl4. So please remember another one, sodium thiosulfate. What is the formula of sodium thiosulfate? Na2S2O3. Alright, so sometimes they give a formula, they ask the name. So please remember for copper 2 ion. Copper 2 ion, so we must take the oxidation number. So this formula is known as copper 2 oxide. We have another formula, copper Cu2O. So this is known as copper 1 oxide. Alright, so potassium manganate, so we must take the oxidation number. This is known as potassium dichromate 6, and please remember the color will be orange color. Alright, so next we move on to the electrolysis. Under electrolysis, how to write the formula of ion. Please remember molten contains 2 ion only. Alright, so we take the lead 2 bromide, so the formula for lead 2 bromide PbBr2. From here we take the lead 2 ion and also bromide ion. So we try to practice another one, molten aluminium oxide. The formula of molten aluminium oxide Al2O3. The formula of ion, so we have only 2 ion, which is aluminium ion and oxide ion. Alright, so if let's say they give you an aqueous solution like dilute or concentrated, or sometimes they put value 0.001 mole dm negative 3 onward. So all these contains 4 ions, so remember to add water molecule. Alright, so we check the copper 2 sulfate CuSO4 plus water. So how many ion here? So we take the copper 2 ion, we take the sulfate ion. From water we take hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion. When there is a 4 ions present in the electrolyte, please remember there is a factor involved during the electrolysis process for the discharge of ion at anode and cathode. Alright, so we move on to the next part. We try to check the how to do the chemical equation, ionic equation, and the particle involved in the reactions or reactant particle that involved in the reaction. This is very important in order to answer collision theory. Alright, so if we check the reaction between magnesium and copper 2 sulfate, so the ionic equation will be magnesium atom and copper 2 ion, so and produce magnesium ion and copper atoms. So we try to check another example. So I'll do here, zinc react with copper 2 sulfate, so we will get zinc sulfate plus copper. So under here, please remember when one capital, one small, so this is exists as atom. And when we have metal plus non-metal and it's soluble, so this copper 2 sulfate exists as ion. Alright, so here metal plus non-metal and it's soluble salt, so exists as ion. And when one capital, one small, this is exists as atom. So we list out all the particles. We list out the particles. Zinc exists as atom. Alright, so we have copper 2 ion exists as ion, and we have sulfate ion arrow. So here we have zinc ion and sulfate ion. Alright, so this is copper exists as copper. So we try to check which particles involved in the reaction. Alright, so which particle involved in the reaction will be under ionic equation. So zinc involved. Alright, then copper 2 ion is involved. Sulfate ion, we try to check the oxidation number is remains unchanged. We try to check the oxidation number is remain unchanged. So this ion act as observation ion. We remove the sulfate ion. So arrow, so the ion that produce is zinc ion and this one is copper atom. So we try to check the change in the oxidation number. So here 0 to positive 2. Alright, and this one will be positive 2 to 0. Alright, so this is the half equation, ionic equation for the displacement of zinc with copper 2 sulfate solution. Alright, we try to check this equation. Alright, hydrochloric acid react with sodium thiosulfate. I try to do here. So hydrochloric acid, please remember acid ionized in water produce ion. Which ion? Hydrogen ion. Reacted with sodium thiosulfate is a soluble salt, so exists as ion. So the product that we will get is known as, we take out the ion, hydrogen ion, chloride ion, sodium ion, and thiosulfate ion. During chemical reaction, sodium join with chloride, so we will get sodium chloride. And this one join, we will get thiosulfonic acid. This compound is unstable. It will rearrange to produce sulfur, sulfur dioxide, and water. So we put sulfur plus sulfur dioxide and water. So balance the equation out. To balance the equation, we balance sodium. So sodium here 2, sodium 2, then we check chloride 2, we put chloride 2. So during this reaction, we only focus on the formation of sulfur precipitate. From here, which ion involve? Hydrogen's ion. So I put hydrogen ion. Okay, from this compound, which ion involved? So I'll take the thiosulfate ion. So I'll put here S2O3 2 negative. And this compound will combine together and form, okay, H2S2O3. This compound will rearrange to produce sulfur. So I put sulfur and I put sulfur dioxide plus sulfur dioxide and water. Alright, so we put water. Then we try to balance this ionic equation. So hydrogen 2. So I'll put hydrogen 2. This is the ionic equation for the reaction between hydrochloric acid and thiosulfate ion. Alright, so next one, we try to check the equation neutralization between hydrochloric acid and calcium carbonate. And please remember, carbonate ion, all is insoluble except we have potassium carbonate and also sodium carbonate. Only this is known as soluble salt. To do another example, if let's say I'll take a sulfuric acid reacted with calcium carbonate, so we will get calcium sulfate plus carbon dioxide and water. How to do ionic equation? Please remember, acid will ionize in water, produce ion. And the ion involved in the ionic equation, please remember, hydrogen ion. Alright, so next here, this is known as insoluble. Alright, insoluble salt. Insoluble salt exists as compound. We take everything, we put here. Calcium carbonate. So we have calcium ion. Alright, so we take the calcium ion, we put here. Alright, and please remember, hydrogen ion combined with carbonate ion, it will form carbonic acid. And this compound unstable will rearrange to produce carbon dioxide and water. So we take the carbon dioxide, we put here, and we put the water here. And how to balance the equation? We check the hydrogen 2, so we put in front of the hydrogen is 2, and this will be the ionic equation. So when we want to explain the collision theory, so the frequency of collision between hydrogen ion and calcium carbonate compound increases. Alright, so that's how we do the ionic equation. Alright, dear students, so we move on to the type of particles. So please remember, the particles that present in a matter can be atom, can be molecule, and also ion. So please remember, atom, we have one capital, one small, or one capital, one capital, one capital, one small. It will be atom. Molecule present between non-metal, alright, plus non-metal exists as molecule when there's a metal combine with non-metal, they exist as ion. All right, so we try to check the atom. So here metal or non-metal can form atom. All right, so when one capital, one small, please remember atom, 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 sulfur atom, phosphorus atom. Molecule, please remember when there is a non-metal plus non-metal. Please remember 6 non-metal: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, hydrogen, and also chloride. All right, so when phosphorus molecule P4, nitrogen gas N2. Okay, so naphthalene, please remember when carbon non-metal, hydrogen non-metal, they exist as molecule. Sulfur molecule as 8. Ammonia gas or ammonia exists as molecule because it's made up of nitrogen non-metal, hydrogen non-metal. Ethanol, carbon non-metal, hydrogen non-metal, oxygen and hydrogen non-metal, so they exist as molecule. All right, glucose, carbon, hydrogen, all this is non-metal, so they also exist as molecule. All right, we move on to the ion. When sodium, metal, chloride, non-metal, metal plus non-metal, they exist as ion. Copper 2 chloride, non-metal, non-metal exists as ion. Zinc, nitrate, metal, non-metal exists as ion. Alright, so please remember basically when metal plus non-metal, they are made up of ionic compound. Ionic compound, the type of bonding present is ionic bonding, and the type of particles that present in soluble ionic compound is known as ion. Alright, so please remember all this, and please remember most of the solid, the arrangement of the solid is arranged in closely packed and in order, and the movement, they do not move, they only vibrate at the fixed position. Gas, the particles are further apart from each other, they move randomly and collide each other. Liquid, the particles are closely packed but not in order, they move throughout the liquid. Alright, so please remember all this, and please make sure write down all the formula of cation. So what is cation? If they ask in the exam, please remember it's a positively charged ion. So we put here positively charged. Alright, charged ion is known as cation. So potassium ion K positive, sodium ion Na positive, calcium ion Ca2 positive, magnesium ion Mg2 positive, aluminium ion Al3 positive, zinc Zn2 positive, iron 2 ion is Fe2 positive, and please remember the color of the iron 2 ion is a green color ion. Tin 2 ion Sn2 positive, lead 2 ion Pb2 positive, hydrogen ion H positive, copper 2 ion is a blue color ion, silver ion Ag positive, ammonium ion NH4 positive. So please remember NH4 positive. Alright, so we move on to the N ion. So what is meant by N ion? Please remember is known as negatively charged ion. Alright, so please remember all the formula of the negative ion: fluoride ion F negative, sulfate ion SO4 2 negative, nitrate ion NO3 negative, chloride ion Cl negative, carbonate ion CO3 2 negative, bromide ion Br negative, I negative, O2 negative will be oxide ion, hydroxide ion OH negative, thiosulfate ion S2O3 2 negative, manganate 7 ion MnO4 negative, so dichromate 6 ion Cr2O7 2 negative. From these, only 2 ion will be colored ion, which is manganate 7 ion will be purple color ion, and dichromate 6 ion will be orange color ion. Alright, so the others will be colorless ion. And we try to move on to the theory of matter. So when they show the picture of durian, why durian is not allowed to enter at hotel or even in airport, how to explain based on the collision theory. So we put the matter of smell of durian is made up of tiny and discrete particles. Okay, and the matter, the smell is, remember, the smell is known as gas. All right, the smell is gas, and most of the gas exists as molecules. All right, so exists as molecules. So the particle in the smell of durian diffuse through the air particle. The smell of durian spread very rapidly or randomly rapidly and move from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, and the process is known as diffusion. Therefore, some people cannot smell durian at the hotel. Hotel does not allow the durian into a hotel. Alright, and please try to check another example also. We try to check this one. The perfume smell gas particles. Alright, this gas particle, when they put gas, they exist as molecule. Alright, the smell of the perfume spread while we walk past the cosmetic counter. So the process involved with diffusion. The perfume smell are made up of tiny and discrete particles. The perfume smell move randomly and occupy the empty spaces between the air molecule. The perfume gas smell particles move from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So this is the answer. Alright, we try to check few questions. Which of the following is made up of ionic compound. So we write down this is non-metal, non-metal exists as molecule. Please remember nitrogen, non-metal, hydrogen, non-metal exists as molecule. Magnesium is metal plus bromide is non-metal. Metal plus non-metals. Therefore, the answer will be C. Hydrogen, non-metal, non-metal. And please remember steam stands for water. Water exists as molecule. All right. So we move on to the next question. Try to check this question. When we get this type of question, write down the formula. Carbon dioxide, metal plus non-metal exists as non-metal, cannot be the answer. Helium, He, one capital, one small exists as atom, can. Magnesium, one capital, one small exists as atom, can. Nitrogen dioxide, non-metal, non-metal exists as molecule. We try to check hydrochloric acid. Even though hydrochloric acid is made up of covalent compound, please remember it can ionize, produce ion, hydrogen ion and chloride ion. So this is ion, correct. So we go for carbon dioxide, non-metal, non-metal exists as molecule. So the answer will be B. We check this one. Nitric acid exists as ion, so correct. Helium gas, He, exists as atom. So this is wrong. So the answer will be B. So try to practice more questions. We move on to the next part. The uses of the chemical substance from Form 4 until Form 5. So we move on with the first part, uses of isotope. So under isotope, please remember cobalt 60. The cobalt 60 is used to treat cancer, sterilizing instrument under food industry. So the cobalt 60, the radioisotope rays of cobalt 60 is used to destroy microorganism in the food so that it can be kept longer. So here, if let's say they give expiry date 2023, so which of the following radioisotope is used to destroy microorganism in the food? So please choose answer cobalt 60. So phosphorus 32 is used to study the rate of metabolism of phosphorus in plant, or the rate of absorption of phosphorus fertilizer by the plant. Lead 210 is used to determine the age of the sand and earth layer up to 80 years. Sodium 24 under industry is used to detect leakage in underground pipe. And please remember another isotope known as carbon 14 is used to determine the age of fossil. Alright, fossils. Alright, so next one we move on to the group 18 elements and the uses of group 18 elements. So group 18 element is known as noble gases. Under that, krypton is used in LASIK treatment to repair the retina. Okay, and also used in high speed photography flash. And next, argon used to fill in electric bulb. Argon also provide inert atmosphere or environment for the welding work at high pressure. And xenon is a filling gas for the lighthouse and also used as anesthesia. Radon is also used to treat cancer. We try to do few questions. Look at this question. Which of the following is the use of carbon 14? Alright, carbon 14 isotope is used to determine the age of fossil. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Food technologies intends to destroy bacteria that causes potato to rot using radioisotope. The radioisotope is known as cobalt 60. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Which element has an isotope that can detect the leakage of underground pipe? That will be sodium, exactly sodium 24. Alright, next uses under acid and alkali. So under acid and alkali, please remember methanoic acid. This methanoic acid formula HCOOH. Please remember this methanoic acid is known as weak acid. Okay, this methanoic acid is used in the coagulation of latex. If latex in the form of liquid, we want to change it in the form of solid. So the process name is known as coagulation of latex. We can add methanoic acid or ethanoic acid or formic acid. Alright, please remember all this is used to coagulate the latex. Under here, sulfuric acid, the formula of sulfuric acid H2SO4. The sulfuric acid is a strong acid, is used to make detergent, fertilizer and also paint. Ammonia is a weak alkali, the formula of ammonia NH3 is used to prevent coagulation of latex. That means it's used to maintain the latex in the liquid form. Alright, this ammonia also will prevent the latex coagulated itself naturally. Alright, so function of ammonia is used to prevent coagulation of latex or maintain the latex in liquid form. Is also very important substance to make fertilizer, act as cooling agent in refrigerator. Alright, so next, ethanoic acid. The formula of ethanoic acid CH3COOH. This is also known as weak acid. This ethanoic acid used as preservative to preserve the food. It will provide acidic medium and kill the microorganisms so that the food can be kept longer. All right, so under next part is alloy. Alloy is a mixture of two or more elements in which the major element will be metal. So please remember steel. So steel, the composition of steel is known as iron, and carbon is used to make building, bridge, railway track. All right, all that. All right. So next one, stainless steel. So we take the steel Fe, we put here plus with carbon, plus with chromium, and plus with nickel. So this Cr stand for chromium, and Ni stand for nickel. So these are the substance we added in the making of stainless steel. So it's used to make kitchen stand steel, surgical instrument, automobile parts. Alright, next one, bronze and brass. Please remember, bronze and brass is made up of major element will be metal, that is known as copper. So here I put copper. So the next element will be, we take the Z, we bring here zinc, and we take the S, we put here tin. Alright, so bronze is made up of copper and tin. Alright, it's used to make national monument, decorative items, trophy, medals, all that. Alright, so brass is used to make musical instrument, key, nuts, bolts, and door knob. Alright, so we move on to the next uses. Next will be under glass. Please remember the main composition of glass is known as silicon dioxide or silica. Alright, please remember borosilicate glass. The borosilicate glass contains silicon dioxide, boron oxide, and sodium oxide. The properties of borosilicate glass is as very high melting point, can withstand high temperature, it has low thermal expansion coefficient. Alright, so that means it can withstand extreme temperature. It's used to make laboratory glassware, glass cooking, tent steel, and also car lamp. Next one, lead glass. It has high refractive index, lowest melting point, heavier. It has high thermal expansion coefficient. That means it can crack easily. When low thermal expansion coefficient, it do not crack. Alright, so this one can crack easily. It's used to make glass dishes. Alright, it has plumb lead to oxide. When we have lead to oxide, it has luminous surface. Alright, so next one, fused glass. The only one glass, alright, that made up of only silica, is made up of silica. Please remember fused glass. This fused glass has very high melting point, do not expand or contract, and it has zero thermal expansion coefficient. That means it do not expand or contract or do not crack easily. It's used to make laboratory apparatus, telescope lens, and microscope lens. Alright, so next one we move on to the uses of traditional and advanced ceramic. This traditional ceramic is used to make made up of clay, silicate, kaolin, and other substance. And please remember the properties inert towards chemical. It has high thermal resistance, can withstand extreme temperature. It also hard and strong. Alright, used to make brick, plates, bowl, engine block. Please remember engine block. Alright, so next one, advanced ceramic. Under advanced ceramic, please remember silicon carbide, okay, and tungsten carbide. The formula is given here. These two has very low thermal expansion coefficient, do not crack easily. Alright, it has thermal shock, it can absorb thermal shock, and also it has high resistance to heat. It is very strong. It's used to make cutting tools, break dish, and so on. And another advanced ceramic is known as lithium silicon oxide. It can withstand extreme temperature. It used as heat shield on a rocket. Alright, so we try to do few questions. Okay, look at this question. So this is known as telescope. Alright, so here, which of the following glass is suitable to make telescope lens? The suitable glass to make telescope lens is known as fuse glass. Alright, so fuse glass is made up of silica only. So the answer will be fuse glass. Alright, so next we move on to the next part. Right, we move on to the next part under composite material. Please remember reinforced concrete. So the metric substance used to produce reinforced concrete, please put concrete, steel, cement, sand, small stones, and also water. And the properties of reinforced concrete is as high compression strength, resistance to corrosion. Uses of this composite reinforced concrete is used to construct building, bridge, dam. Alright, so next one, superconductor, very important, and please remember is used to make maglev train or bullet train. The metric substance, so we have yttrium, barium, copper oxide. It's a form of alloy, and please remember YbCO, and its properties is light and have a strong magnetic force, no electrical resistance at very low temperature. It's used to make maglev train, bullet train, MRI machine, all that. Alright, so next, under carbon compound, please remember alcohol. Alright, alcohol, mostly ethanol. Alright, is used as a miscible in water, volatile, colorless organic solvent. Is used as a solvent in making paint, liquor, cosmetic product. Also solvent in preparation medicine, antiseptic. Alright, disinfectants, and pan-to-ol is used to produce rubbing alcohol. Ethanol is oxidized to ethanoic acid and is also used in making vinegar. Alright, next, ester is produce a pleasant smell or fruity smell. Is used as a polyester terylene perspex. Okay, polyester terylene perspex is also used to make soap, detergent, shampoo, perfume. Right, so we can put perfume here, is also used. Okay, under food additive, it's used as a flavoring agent to enhance the smell of the food and make essential oil to make drug like aspirin, ibuprofen, cataphrone, all that. And in industrial is used to make solvent, sunscreen, paint, liquor, varnish, glue. All right, so please remember all these uses. So we move on to the next part. Under polymer, all right, please remember PVC stand for polyvinyl chloride. The monomer name is chloroethane. How to draw the monomer? So we put bonding up here, down here we put Cl, we put H here, H here. So this polyvinyl chloride is used to make water pipe, electrical, insulator, raincoat, umbrella. All right, nylon is made up of condensation polymerization. The monomer name decanediol dichloride and 1,6-hexadiamine substance is used to make parachute, cloth, thread, all that. All right, next, terylene also is produced through condensation. Condensation polymerization is also produced through condensation polymerization. The monomer name 1,2 ethane diol terephthalic acid is used to make clothes, sailcoat, clothes, parachute, fishing net. Alright, next, polypropene. Polypropene, the monomer name is propane. So please remember the structural formula. So we have H. Later I will discuss in detail when we enter chapter 4 from 5. Alright, so we want, this is the monomer structural formula of the monomer of polypropene. Is used to make personal protective equipment, toys, textiles, and bottle. Alright, so next one, polyethylene. The monomer name of polyethylene is ethene. Is made through addition polymerization, and this polyethylene is used to make plastic bottle, plastic bag, plates, cup, and bucket. Alright, so next point. So we move on to the next under thermochemistry. Please remember hot pack and cold pack. Hot pack is made up of anhydrous magnesium sulfate, anhydrous calcium chloride, or even we can use calcium oxide. Is used to stop excessive bleeding, keep the body warmer for the mountain climber, keep the hand and leg warmer during the winter season. Cold pack is ammonium nitrate, potassium nitrate, sodium thiosulfate, ammonium chloride substance. Alright, is used to cool food, drinks, relieve pain, swelling due to the spot injuries. Alright, so we move under additive detergent. The additive detergent is comes together with detergent to enhance the cleaning action of detergent. So please remember Beholder. Beholder is used to soften the hard water, okay, by removing calcium ion and magnesium ion. Hard water contains calcium ion and magnesium ion. Higher concentration of calcium ion and magnesium ion and ion of soap is ineffective in hard water, but we will add sodium tripolyphosphate act as Beholder. It softens the hard water by removing calcium and magnesium ion. Please remember this one. Whitening agent. Sodium perborate and sodium hypochlorite is bleach the color of the stain without bleaching the original color of the fabric. Drying agent, sodium silicate and sodium sulfate is to make the solid detergent dry and enable the liquid detergent to be poured easily. Alright, so next one, anti-suspension agent. So please remember sodium carboxyl methyl cellulose. It prevents the dirt particle removed from redepositing on the clean fabric. All right, so next we move on to the modern medicine. Modern medicine, we have first class, second, third, and we have total 4 classes of modern medicine under first class psychotic drugs. So please remember the name of the example: alloperidol, clozapine, clozapromazine. All these I will discuss in detail when we enter chapter 5, form 5. Okay, this psychotic drugs is used to treat a patient who can hear sound and voices that is not really real, that is known as hallucination. All right, anti-allergic, so please remember antihistamine is used to relieve running nose and itchiness. Antimicrobial, we have 3 classes of antimicrobial: antibiotic, antiseptic, disinfectant. So antibiotic, we have streptomycin, penicillin. Streptomycin is used to treat tuberculosis. All right, and there's antiseptic, hydrogen peroxide, iodine, boric acid. Even we can use alcohol. Alcohol is applied externally on the skin to prevent infection, okay, that caused by microorganism. Disinfectant, formaldehyde and ethanol. Disinfectant is destroy pathogen that found on the non-living object. All this I will discuss in detail later. All right, so analgesic. So please remember analgesic, we have aspirin, we have codeine, and we have paracetamol. Alright, so later I will discuss, but now remember aspirin. Aspirin is known as acidic analgesic. The scientific name of aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. It's used to treat fever, toothache, arthritis, pain, all that. Alright, so why children below 12 years old cannot take aspirin? Because aspirin is acidic analgesic. It can cause internal bleeding in their small intestine. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Alright, under traditional medicine, so please remember aloe vera. Aloe vera is used to treat skin wound and also skin burn. Alright, how to use? We crush the leaf, we apply the gel on the affected area. Please remember next one, ginger is used to remove stomach wind. It also prevent flu and keep our body warm. Alright, this ginger is, we boil the rhizome. The rhizome will be this one. So we boil the stem or rhizome, okay, and produce juice for drinking. Alright, so next one under ginseng. Ginseng is used to lower the blood pressure, sugar level, and also cholesterol level in the body. It also increase the immunity against the infection. So how to use? We take the stem, we boil the stem with the water, and we drink the water. Alright, so next one we move on to the food additive. Under food additive, please remember emulsifier. Under emulsifier, please remember N-lecithin is help to mix the layer of water and oil in food. So ice cream, chocolate, they use N-lecithin. Okay, it's prevent the separation of oil and water layer from the food. Antioxidant. Please remember ascorbic acid is prevent the oxidation of food by oxygen and prevent the food turn into rancid. Alright, preservative, sodium nitrate, benzoic acid, sodium benzoate, sulfur dioxide, cobalt 60, all these is used to kill or retard the growth of microorganism in the food, and long terms of taking this can cause cancer. Alright, next one, aspartame is artificial sweetener. Monosodium glutamate is known as MSG. Ester, okay, enhance the flavor of the food. This MSG enhance the taste of the food. This aspartame also enhance the taste of the food. So all these under flavoring agent. Alright, we move on to the next part. Okay, under basic ingredients for the cosmetics, so please remember the solvent that we use is distilled water or ionized water. The one is emulsifier. Under homogeneous mixture, to mix the oil and water layer in the cosmetic so that the cosmetic looks even, okay, and smoother. So they use lecithin or stearic acid. Preservative, they use paraben and also formaldehyde, and this one prevent the growth of microorganisms so that the cosmetic lasts longer. So please remember preservative. The others you all can study. Alright, so next one, please remember the harmful substance that added in the cosmetics. So this is mercury, very important. This mercury can cause skin irritation, damage the skin, damage the kidney, and also nervous system. The others please go through. Alright, so we move on to the last part of this. uses under nanotechnology, the use of nanoparticles to make the substance. So under here, please remember cosmetic. In cosmetic, okay, we use nanotechnology to enable the cosmetic penetrate deep into skin and treat the skin. All right, so the others please study this one. So graphene. Graphene is a form of allotrope, carbon allotrope, other than diamond and also graphite. So this graphite is used to make sensor, biosensor. Okay, under electronic field is used to make photovoltaic devices. So under here is also used to make bioelectronic and also solar cell. All right, so these are the uses that student must remember. So we move on to the next part. Dear student, under Chapter 1, Introduction to Chemistry, please focus on the contribution of some scientists like Robert Boyle introduced the scientific method, Lavoisier introduced the law of conservation of mass and theory of combustion. And please focus on the self-protective equipment and their function. For example, face mask is used to protect the respiratory organ from chemicals such as powder or fume. Alright, so please remember other also. So we try to do one question. Look at this question. Which of the following personal protective equipment during in the laboratory when used to protecting the respiratory organ from chemicals and powder? Okay, chemicals in the form of powder and fume. All right, so that will be face masks. All right, so we move on to the next one. Suggest emergency management procedure if chemicals spill, or the mercury thermometer bulb which contain mercury spill is occur. So please remember mercury is a poisonous substance. So how to describe emergency management procedure? Open the window and door to allow sufficient air ventilation, make the spill area prohibited area, sprinkle sulfur and zinc powder to cover up the spill area. All right, so and contact the fire and rescue department for further action immediately. All right, so these are the safety management, emergency management procedure. Please focus on other part also like acid spill and cloth on the fire. All right, so we move on to the next part. Alright, under introduction to chemistry, student must remember storage method of following chemicals. So please remember sodium, lithium, potassium. Group 1 metal is known as reactive metal. So this metal should be kept in paraffin oil. The substance that easily decompose should be put in the dark bottle to avoid exposed to heat and also sunlight. Alright, so look at the question number 5, disposal method of chemical waste after an experiment. Hydrogen peroxide with the low concentration should be poured directly into the sink. Hydrogen peroxide with high concentration can be diluted with water, added with sodium sulfide before we pour into a sinky. Alright, so next one, try to check the solution with lower pH value. Lower than 5 is concentrated acid, and the one more than 9 is known as alkaline solution. And this solution is known as strong acid, strong alkali, can damage the sink and react with water to release high heat and toxic gases. Should be kept in closed container. Alright, so the substance that volatile can easily vaporize into alcohol, such as alcohol, ammonia, bromine, hazardous to human and can be fatal if inhaled in large amount. And this substance should be stored in a special container or closed container and should keep away from the heat and light sources. Alright, the solvent like hydrocarbon solvent, all this is known as organic solvent, and they are carcinogenic, volatile and inflammable, and this substance should be kept in special container made up of glass or plastic. All right, so please remember hydrogen peroxide. Look at this question. Chemical waste in laboratory have a specific method of disposal according to the type of material. Which method is correct? So we the number A, hydrogen peroxide with low concentration can be poured directly into sink. If high concentration, it should be diluted with water. It should be diluted with water added with sodium sulfide before we pour into sinky. So the suitable answer is A. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Alright, dear student, we move on to the next under chapter 2, matter and atomic structure. So first thing that student must remember, what is meant by melting point. Please remember melting process. Melting process is known as solid. Solid is converted into liquid. Alright, so the point that we measure here, please remember temperature. So what is meant by melting point? Melting point is a temperature at which solid is changes into liquid at certain pressure. Alright, next, what is meant by nuclear number? Nuclear number is the total number of protons plus neutrons that present in the nucleus, and please put atom, nucleus of an atom. Alright, this mean by nuclear number the total number of protons and neutrons that present in nucleus of an atom. Alright, so next we try to check the melting process of naphthalene. So please check the formula of naphthalene, C10H8, and this carbon is known as non-metal, hydrogen is non-metal, therefore naphthalene exists as molecule. So if in the exam they ask what is state the particles that present in naphthalene, so please put answer molecule. What is mean by melting point? Melting point is the temperature at which solid changes into liquid at certain pressure. So please check the graph, heating graph given in the question. So from this graph, the particle from T0 to T1 exists as solid, from T2 until T3 exists as liquid. Alright, T2 until T1 until T2, the particle exists as a mixture of solid, alright, plus liquid, and the melting point of this naphthalene is known as 78 degrees Celsius. So the melting point will be 78 degrees Celsius. So next we try to go for the question. So why the temperature remain unchanged from T1 to T2? So please remember, heat energy is absorbed by the particle is used to overcome the forces of attraction between the particles, so that the particle from solid can turn into liquid. What is the melting point? 78 degrees Celsius. State the physical state of naphthalene. Naphthalene at melting point. So where is the melting point? The melting point is here, the physical state here. So the answer will be mixture of solid and liquid. So the answer will be mixture of solid and liquid. Alright, what is the purpose of using water bath? Water bath is used in this experiment to ensure an uniform or even heating process is conducted. Furthermore, naphthalene is flammable, cannot be heated directly. So we will use water bath to ensure an even heating or uniform heating process is conducted. In this diagram, there is one mistake. So the boiling tube cannot touch the base of the beaker. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Try to check the formula of sodium nitrate. Sodium nitrate has melting point of 300 degrees Celsius. So this is sodium nitrate. The melting point of sodium nitrate is 388 degrees Celsius. And please remember the water bath, the boiling point of water. Alright, so the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So in this experiment, to determine the melting point of sodium nitrate, water bath is not suitable. Alright, water bath is not suitable. Why? Because at 100 degrees Celsius, the water will evaporate and will turn into gas. Alright, the water will evaporate and turn into gas. This is because the melting point of sodium nitrate is higher than the boiling point of water. Therefore, water bath is not suitable. Alright, so we check the questions. Sodium nitrate has a melting point 308 degrees Celsius. Can the melting point of sodium nitrate be determined by using water bath? Explain your answer. So the answer will be cannot. Alright, so why? Because the melting point of sodium nitrate is higher than the boiling point of the water, which is 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius, the water will evaporate and will turn into gas. Alright, so therefore the sodium nitrate will be remain there. So we cannot find the melting point of sodium nitrate, or we cannot melt the sodium nitrate. We can use oil bath to replace the water bath. Alright, so next we move on to the next question. Explain why the temperature remain unchanged during freezing process. And please remember, freezing process means is a process where liquid, alright, liquid changing into, mean by freezing point, temperature at which liquid changes into solid at certain pressure. And this is the graph. From this graph, okay, the particle, alright, the particle at PQ will be liquid, alright, liquid, and the particle from Q to R will be mixture of liquid plus with solid. Alright, so here the particle will be at solid state, and the freezing point will be this one. 80 degrees Celsius is the freezing point. So the freezing point is 80 degrees Celsius. Or why the temperature remain unchanged from Q to R? So the answer is here. Heat energy released by the particle is exactly balanced by the heat loss to the surrounding as the particle attracted one another to form solid. Alright, so please remember, three subatomic particles that present in the atom is known as PEN. P stand for proton, E stand for electron, N stand for neutron. Alright, N stand for the neutron. And please study the chart. Remember the symbol, the relative mass and relative charge of subatomic particles. So, alright, dear student, we move on to the next question. So please check this question. In the table, there is a substance given like argon, naphthalene, sodium chloride or acetamide. Alright, so when we check one capital, one small, the particles that present is atom. So please remember the particles that exist is atom, molecule, alright, and ion. Alright, how to identify atom? Atom made up of one capital, one small, or one capital like this, one capital, one small, all this is atom. Alright, so when we see the carbon is non-metal, hydrogen is non-metal, non-metal is made up of molecules. Alright, so naphthalene exists as molecule. When there is a metal plus non-metal, the particles that present is ions. When we see acetamide, alright, carbon, non-metal, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, all these non-metals, so the particle exists as molecule. Alright, so we try to check the first question. State the type of particles present in argon. Argon, the type of particles present is atom, naphthalene molecule, sodium chloride, ion. Alright, so state what is the physical state of sodium chloride. Please remember sodium chloride exists as stable salt, or one more name we can put common salt. Alright, they exist as solid. Okay, and what is the uses of sodium chloride? Is used as a flavoring agent to enhance the taste of the food. Next question, explain why the melting point of sodium chloride is higher than naphthalene. Please remember sodium chloride NaCl is made up of ionic bonding. Alright, ionic bonding. Naphthalene C10H8 is made up of covalent bonding. Alright, so how to answer this question? Sodium ion and chloride ion in sodium chloride are attracted together by stronger electrostatic forces of attraction. Thus, more heat energy is required to overcome the forces of attraction in sodium chloride. Naphthalene exists as molecule or neutral molecule. There is a weaker van der Waals forces of attraction exist between the molecule. Thus, less heat energy is required to overcome the forces of attraction. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Naphthalene, the heating process of naphthalene. Please remember heating process of naphthalene, solid changing into liquid. Alright, so here A to B the particle in solid state, C to D the particle in liquid state, and from B to C the particle in the mixture of solid, plus liquid state. Alright, so we try to answer the question. So state the meaning of melting point, a constant temperature at which solid is changes into liquid, or the temperature at which solid changes into liquid at certain pressure. What is the melting point? Please take the temperature. Where is the melting point of naphthalene? So from B to C, so the answer will be T1 degrees Celsius. And explain why there is no change in the temperature occur from B to C. This is because the heat energy is absorbed by the particle, is used to overcome the forces of attraction between the particles, so that the particle from solid can turn into liquid. What is the physical state of naphthalene at melting point? Alright, the naphthalene at melting point exists as a mixture of solid and liquid. The sodium nitrate has the melting point of 308 degrees Celsius. The suitable bath that we can use is oil bath. Alright, oil bath. Alright, why we cannot use water bath to determine the melting point of sodium nitrate? Alright, because the melting point of sodium nitrate is higher than the boiling point of the water, which is 100 degrees Celsius. So we can use oil bath to replace the water bath. Alright, we move on to the next question. Try to check this question to determine the graph. Student must know how to draw the graph to determine the freezing point of naphthalene. Remember time, so put at axis x. So time we put at axis x, so this is axis x, so this is y. So take a graph, please use the point, please try to draw and try to get the answer. So once we get the graph, so make sure we put x symbol to determine the point, so we get the curve like this. And from the graphs, try to check to determine the freezing point of naphthalene. Where is the freezing point of naphthalene? This is the freezing point of the naphthalene, so we label in the graph. Alright, so please try to do more practice. Alright, so dear student, we move on to the next question. So under this question, try to check the table. The proton number, nuclear number, percentage of the atom is given in the question. So when we check the proton number, the Q and R, the proton number same, but the nuclear number is different. So we circle this Q and R. So this Q and R is known as isotope. Alright, so we try to answer the question. So state the number of neutrons present in atom P. So the nuclear number is given 32, the proton number is given 16. So 32 minus 16, that will be 16 neutron. Alright, so how to write the standard representation of atom P in the format of these? So please remember, the A stand for nucleon number and Z stand for proton number. So how to write? So we take the atom symbol P, so we put here, and the nuclear number, the A will be nuclear number, so the nuclear number 32, and the Z will be proton number, the proton number will be 16. So this is the answer. Alright, so which elements or which atoms are isotopes? So here we already know atom Q and R, so we put atom Q and atom R are isotope. Both atom Q and atom R show same number of protons but different number of neutrons. Alright, so next question, based on the table above, calculate the relative atomic mass of the isotope. The isotope given in the question is Q and R, so we take the nuclear number and we take the percentage given here 75, and the R nuclear number 37, and the percentage is given 25. Alright, so we take the 35 times with 75, so we plus with 37 times with 25, so we divide with total percentage 75 plus 25, and we try to get the answer. And please remember to don't put the unit, no unit for relative atomic mass. So this is the answer, so try to do more practice. Alright, so we move on to the next question. The diagram below shows the graph. Alright, graph of temperature against time for the liquid acetamide cool. Alright, so this process is known as freezing. Alright, freezing process, and the freezing point will be X. So determine the freezing point, so this is the X degree Celsius. Alright, so when we check here, there is a small curve here, this is known as super cooling phenomena. Alright, so move on to the next question. Explain why a small curve occur at the temperature of X degree Celsius. So here we check there's a small curve. Alright, so this is because of what supercooling is occur, where the temperature of cooling liquid acetamide drop to below its freezing point. This is because when the liquid acetamide is cool, it is not stirred continuously or properly. On to the next question. Alright, under I give another type similar question like this. So here we check the proton number 11. So these two proton number is same, so L and M will be isotope. Their number of neutrons is given here. So what we do, we try to do the nuclear number here. Alright, nuclear number, sum up of protons and neutrons that present in the nucleus of an atom. So the nuclear number of this will be 16. Right, this one will be 23, and this one will be 24. Alright, so next we try to go for the meaning of nuclear number, the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. Alright, so next one, state the nuclear number of atom L. So we do what? 11 proton number plus with total number of neutron, which is 12, so that will be 23. We try to write down the standard representation of atom M, so I put atom M here. Nuclear number is 24, so I put 24. The proton number is 11. Alright, so this is the answer. We move on to the next question. Which atoms are isotopes? So atom L and N. L and N are isotope. Both atom L and M shows the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So please remember this question, very important question. Which atom shows similar chemical properties? Normally isotope. Isotope will show similar chemical properties because they have same valence electron. Don't put same proton number, right? Because they have show same valence electron. So if we try to do the electron arrangement of atom L and M, this is 2.8.1, this is 2.8.1. Both atom L and M shows the same number of valence electron, which is 1 in the outermost shell. So the answer, atom L and M have the same number of valence electron, which is 1 in the outermost shell. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Look at this table. So here the proton number same, so this W and Y will be isotope. Their number of neutron is different. So we try to write down the electron arrangement of atom W. So we use the proton number to write down the electron arrangement, which is 2.8.6. Alright, from here this atom belongs to group. Alright, so don't put group 6, please put group 16, and it belongs to period 3. We have total 1, 2, 3 number, so therefore it belongs to period 3. But if they ask the position of atom W in the periodic table, state the ion. ion of atom X. So we take the atom X, so we put here the electron arrangement 2.5. So please check the valence electron 5, and always remember, when valence electron 4, 5, 6, 7, the atom is known as non-metal. Non-metal will accept electron to achieve stable octet electron arrangement. Alright, so therefore they will form an ion. So we put negative here. How many electron accepted by atom X? So we take the 5, it will accept 3 electron, it will achieve stable octet electron arrangement. We take the 3, we put in front here. So the formula will be X3 negative, and the electron arrangement of is 2.5 plus 3. So that will be 2.8, already achieved stable octet electron arrangement. Alright, so when they ask to draw the electron arrangement of atom Y, so we take the proton number atom Y, it has proton number 16, it has nuclear number 32. Okay, 16 plus 16, 32. So we try to put proton will be 16. Atom, please remember, neutral, total number of protons and electrons are equal. Therefore, electron will be 16 and neutron is 16. We draw the nucleus. Inside the nucleus we put 16 proton, 16 neutron, and we put the electron arrangement. The electron arrangement of atom Y, we use the proton number or electron number to do the electron arrangement. So this is 2.8.6. So first shell will be 2 electron. Alright, second shell will be 8 electron. Alright, and the valence shell will be 6 electrons. So we put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons. So this electron arrangement of atom Y, try to label this is nucleus. Alright, nucleus. Alright, so we move on to the next part. So under chapter 2, we try to answer one essay question related to isotopes. So standard representation. So the questions, the standard representation of an element allow the information about an element to be displayed in simpler and more accurate manner. The diagram below shows the atomic structure. So we put here proton, electron and neutron. The proton given here 6, the electron 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the electron also 6, and the neutron given in the diagram is also 6. Alright, and the atom is known as carbon. Alright, so we move on to the first questions. Write the standard representation of atom in this format. Please remember, A is known as nucleon. Nucleon number, the formula to calculate the nucleon number is known as proton plus neutron. Alright, so the proton is 6, neutron is 6, so the total will be 12. Alright, so I put the symbol of carbon, so I take the nuclear number, I put here, and the number at the bottom will be proton number. Alright, so this is the standard representation in the form of this. Alright, so we move on to the next point. Deduce 5 information about the atom in the diagram given. So this atom is known as carbon atom, and this atom, the proton number is 6. The total number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom of carbon is 6. The nuclear number is 12. The total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of carbon atom is 12. Alright, so we do what? 12 minus 6. Okay, 12 minus 6 neutrons in the nucleus of the carbon atom. The electron arrangement of this carbon atom is 2.4. So we try to deduce 5 information. Alright, next question, carbon 14. Please remember, carbon 14 is known as isotope. Isotope of carbon 12. Alright, so they ask us to draw the electron arrangement of carbon 14. So how to draw the electron arrangement of carbon 14? So please remember, carbon 14, the symbol we write here 14, the proton number always same. Carbon 12 and carbon 14, the proton number is same. So we try to write down the proton 6, the neutron will be 14, minus 6 will be 8, and the electron 6. Alright, so we try to do the electron arrangement 2.4. So we try to do the label nucleus. Inside the nucleus we put 6 proton, 8 neutron. Alright, the first shell we put 2 electron. Alright, and the second shell we put 4 electron or 4 valence electron. Alright, so carbon 14 atom. Alright, so next question, they ask compare and contrast both atoms. Alright, both carbon 12 atom, when they ask compare and contrast, so please give one similarity. So I put here both carbon 12 and carbon 14 atoms show same chemical properties. Both carbon atom have same number of valence electron, which is 4 valence electron. Carbon 12 atom has 6 protons and 6 neutrons in the nucleus, while carbon 14 has 6 protons and 8 neutrons in the nucleus. Alright, so this is the differences between carbon 12 and carbon 14. Alright, so next point, carbon and the both atoms shows different physical properties. Alright, so next one, carbon 12 and carbon 14 are isotope because both atoms shows the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. And we state the uses of carbon 14. So here the question, they want us to state the uses of carbon 14. So the carbon 14 is used to determine the age of fossil and also ancient artifact. Alright, so that's how we answer the essay question. We move on to the next question. Students, we try to do another question. Mass of an atom is very small, therefore chemists determine the mass of an atom by comparing the mass of an atom with another atom called relative atomic mass. We use carbon 12 as a relative atomic mass, but in this diagram, okay, they use silicon 28, and the RAM of silicon 28 is known as 28. Alright, so we have two silicon atom times with 28, so we will get the RAM of atom Q is known as 56. Alright, so we try to check the answer question. The state what is mean by relative atomic mass. So relative atomic mass is known as average mass of an atom of an element when compared with 1 over 12 times mass of carbon 12. How to find the relative atomic mass of atom Q? So we take the RAM of silicon times we take the two atom, so we will get 56. Alright, so look at this question. So the mass is given, mass 11.2 gram of atom Q react with oxygen. So please put the symbol of oxygen O2 to produce this compound. So how to do this equation? So we take Q, react with oxygen O2, so we will get the product Q2O3. How to balance the equation? We check here 2, here 3, oxygen 2 and 3, so we times 2 here. 2 times 3, 6, so 3 times 2, 6. Q is 4. Alright, Q is 4, so Q is 4. Alright, that's how we do the equation. Alright, and please check when the mass is given, the mass is belongs to Q atom. So if mass is given, so please convert into number of mole when stoichiometry calculation. How to find the number of mole? We take the mass over molar mass. Alright, this is the formula that student must use. Alright, so we try to check the question. Alright, referring to the answer in 1C1, interpret the equation qualitatively and quantitatively. Qualitatively means we need to state the reactant and product form, and quantitative means we have to check the equation how many number of moles of reactant and how many number of moles of product is produced. Alright, so we try to check the qualitative terms. Alright, the qualitative terms, so Q, solid Q, alright, and oxygen gas is the reactant, and here Q2O3. So how to answer? The reactant solid Q and oxygen gas, and the product is solid Q2O3. Alright, so quantitative terms, how to do this one? We check the equation. From the equation, how many number of mole of Q? Q is 4 mole. So we check 4 mole, Q react with 3 mole of O2 oxygen, produce 2 mole of Q2O3. Alright, so this symbol, please remember, react. Alright, so this symbol is known as produce. Alright, so how to answer this question? So 4 mole of solid Q react with 3 mole of oxygen gas to produce 2 mole of solid Q2O3. Alright, so next question, determine the mass. So if want to determine the mass of Q2O3, so we will use the formula number of mole times with molar mass. Alright, so how to do this question? So we check if each question, in the question given 11.2 gram of atom Q, so we convert into number of mole by using the formula mass over molar mass. I put 11.2. The molar mass of Q 56 I obtained from here. Alright, 56, so I already get 0.2 mole. Alright, so then I check the equation, I find the ratio of Q to Q2O3. So here from this, we have 4 mole. So I put here 4 mole of Q, react and produce this one 2 mole of Q2O3. And from the experiment, we get 2 mole. Alright, so from experiment 0.2 mole of Q will react and produce. We take the 0.2, divide with this number, times with this number. So multiply with these 2 mole of Q2O3. So we will get 0.1 mole of Q2O3. Alright, so here we already give the answer. And next we try to go for the mass. So I put here mass of Q2O3. We take the number of mole times with molar mass. The number of mole we already get 0.1 times with the molar mass is already given in the question, which is 160. So we will get 16.0 grams. So the answer is given. Alright, so try to check the next question, Q2O3. Okay, is steam excessively in sulfate solution? Okay, to produce the formula is given. The formula Q2 bracket SX4. Alright, and the times with 3 dot 2H2X. Alright, is given. So we need to find the value of X. So the molar mass is given. So we sum up with this, we will get 436. Alright, so we check here Q is 2. So we take 2 RAM of Q. We already find here 56. So we take the 56, we put here. Alright, next one we check there the bracket, the times 3. So what I do, plus 3 open bracket, sulfur 1. So we have 4x. So we close the bracket, and here we check the H2x is times with 2. So I plus, okay, we put 2 open bracket, 2 times RAM of hydrogen is given 1. So 1 plus, okay, I put x. So we close the bracket, 436. Alright, so when we times this one, we will get 112. Plus with this one, sulfur is known as 32. So I put here 32. Alright, so sulfur 96. So I will get, when we times this, 12x. Alright, so here when we times this, we will get 4. Plus this one, we times, we will get 2. Alright, so I plus here. So we get 2x. So 436. Alright, so next I try to add all these again, 112, 96 and 4. So we will get the answer 212 plus, when we take 12 plus with 2x, so that will be 14x equals to 436. Alright, the 14x we bring this one 436 minus 212. So this answer will be 224. Alright, so 14x will be 224. So we try to find the x. 224 divide with 14, so the answer will be 16. So the answer is given. Alright, try to practice more question on this part and do more revision. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Dear students, please remember the meaning of molecular formula. Molecular formula is a chemical formula that shows actual number of atoms of each element that present in a molecule of a compound or form a compound. Why carbon 12 is used as standard? Alright, standard atom, because the carbon 12 exists as solid at room temperature. It's the most abundant element, can combine with many elements. They already used in spectrometer at that time and was already used as a carbon 12. Alright, so next point, we try to do another stoichiometric calculation when we see the unit cm power 3 or dm power 3. So please remember this is volume. Alright, and when C mole dm negative 3, this is known as molarity, right, of sulfuric acid H2SO4. When M and V is given, please remember the formula to calculate number of mole is known as MV over 1000. Alright, MV over 1000 of sulfuric acid. Write down the chemical equation for this reaction. So we try to do the chemical equation here. Sulfuric acid H2SO4 reacted with sodium carbonate. So what will we get? We take out the ion hydrogen ion, we take out the sulfate ion, we take out the sodium ion, we take out the carbonate ion. During chemical reaction, this and this join. Sodium ion join with sulfate ion, we will get NaSO4. We take the 2, we put here. Alright, so please remember when hydrogen combine with carbonate ion, so we will get unstable compound. This one will rearrange to give you carbon dioxide and water. So we put carbon dioxide and water. So we try to balance the equation, we erase everything, we check sodium 2, sodium 2. Alright, so that means the equation is balanced. Carbon 1, carbon 1, hydrogen, oxygen 4 plus 3, 6, oxygen 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So oxygen here 7. Alright, so the equation is balanced. Alright, so second step, how to find. So we read the question. They want the volume of carbon dioxide and the information is given. The information in the question is given on sulfuric acid. So this is stoichiometric calculation. So first step, we convert into number of mole. The number of mole of sulfuric acid, we use MV over 1000. We apply, we find the number of mole, 0.1 mole. Alright, so next step, we have the information about sulfuric acid. We want the information about carbon dioxide. So here please take 1 mole. This is 1 mole. So we write down 1 mole of carbon dioxide, produce 1 mole of 1 mole of sulfuric acid produce 1 mole of carbon dioxide. We take 0.1 mole will produce 0.1 mole of carbon dioxide. So the volume of carbon dioxide, we take the number of mole, we times with molar volume, which will be given in the question. So in STP, so 0.1 times with the molar volume, which is 22.4, so we get 2.24 dm power 3. All right, so how to find another formula, how to find the X symbol? So we take the X2CO3, when sum up we take formula mass, which is 138. The RAM of carbon is given, oxygen is given, so we put 2x plus carbon 12 plus 3 times 16. When we sum up, we get 138. Alright, so 2x plus 60 sum up 138. 2x, when we bring here 138 minus 60. Alright, so 2x we will get 78. X will be 78 divided 2, which is 39. So the RAM of X is 39. Alright, so we move on to the next question. Okay, student, we try to check another question. A student heated up 24.8 gram of copper 2 carbonate. So please remember, copper 2 carbonate CuCO3 is a green color crystal. Alright, so strongly and it decomposed to produce copper 2 oxide is a black color powder and release carbon dioxide. So the first question, calculate the mass of copper 2 oxide. So what we do, we try to take the 24.8 gram, we convert into number of moles. So we use mass over molar mass. So the mass is given 24.8 gram, the molar mass of copper 64, carbon 12. Alright, so oxygen, we have 3 oxygen, so 3 times 16. So we try to find the answer, we will get 0.2 mole. Right, so next point, what 0.2 mole? We try to compare the equation and find the ratio mole. Alright, so I write here 1 mole of copper 2 carbonate give us 1 mole of copper 2 oxide from the equation. We take 0.2 mole of copper 2 carbonate will give us 0.2 mole of copper 2 oxide. Alright, so the number of mole of copper 2 oxide we already get. The number of mole of copper 2 oxide is 0.2 mole. Alright, so now we try to find the mass of copper 2 oxide. How to find the mass of copper 2 oxide? We take number of mole times with molar mass. So the number of mole, we take this one 0.2, the molar mass of copper. Alright, copper is 64 plus 16, so we will get answer 16 gram. Alright, so next we try to find the volume of carbon dioxide. So the volume of carbon dioxide, how to find? I use the same number of moles. So here this is the number of mole. We find the ratio between copper to carbonate and carbon dioxide. Alright, so from the equation, 1 mole of copper 2 carbonate give us 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Alright, so from the calculation, number of mole of copper 2 carbonate, 0.2 mole of copper 2 carbonate will give us 0.2 mole of carbon dioxide. So how to find the volume of carbon dioxide? We take volume of carbon dioxide, number of mole times with molar volume. Alright, so the number of mole we get 0.2 mole, so 0.2 times with the molar volume given in the question, which is 24. So we find the answer, which is 4.8 dm power 3. Alright, so we go for move on to the next question. Try to check the how to find the empirical formula. From the empirical formula, this year I'm targeting student need to calculate RAM of element. Alright, 1.2 gram of element X. That means the mass of element X is 1.2 gram and the mass of element Y, so Y is 0.8 gram. Alright, they form the compound with the formula is given here. What is the RAM of X? That means RAM of Y is given. So this is related to the empirical formula of compound. So we write the table, so we put element X and Y, we put the mass 1.2 here and 0.8 is here. Right, so we try to find the number of mole. How to find the number of mole? We take mass over molar mass. So we take the mass is 1.0, 1.2. The molar mass of X is not given. Alright, so the RAM of X is not given, so I represent with symbol Q. Alright, so here 0.8, the molar mass of RAM of Y is given 16. Alright, so next from the formula XY, so the ratio 1 to 1. So I put 1 to 1 from the ratio. Right, so I do the ratio question 1.2, alright, divide with Q. Divide with the Q, the symbol is given. Okay, so 0.8 divide with 16, so that will be 1 to 1. Alright, so this is the formula. Then from here we try to settle and find the Q, then that will be the answer. So 1.2 Q, right, I bring this one up, bring this one down, so 16, 0.8, so this will be 1 over 1. Alright, so next 1.2 Q, I try to settle this will be 21 over 1. Alright, so next I try to times this one, 24 divide with Q, so 1 over 1. Alright, so I try to find the Q, so the Q will be 24. The answer is given. Alright, try to do more practice on this part. Alright, so we move on to the next part. Empirical formula of magnesium oxide. To determine the empirical formula of reactive metal, so we will use this experiment. So this experiment is used to determine the empirical formula of reactive metal, the reactive metals such as magnesium, zinc. All right, so the method that we use here, by heating, all right, the metal, all right, the metal that is reactive, all right, towards what? Towards oxygen. Right, by heating the metal towards oxygen. So the word form equation, metal react with oxygen, it will produce metal oxide. Right, so we move on to the experiment. So please check the question number 9. Below shows the reaction between magnesium and oxygen to determine the empirical formula. And please remember, this magnesium can be replaced with reactive metal such as zinc. Alright, so the experiment equation, magnesium react with oxygen, so we will get magnesium oxide. Balance the oxygen 2, so here oxygen 1, so I put 2 here. So now magnesium 2, so magnesium 2. This is the equation. So this crucible method, alright, so they heated up, they heating the reactive metals with what? With oxygen. Right, so please remember the method. All right, so now write the chemical equation done. All right, explain why the magnesium ribbon need to be cleaned with sandpaper to remove the oxide layer on the magnesium surface. All right, so we heated up the magnesium ribbon, the lid need to be opened occasionally. Why it should be opened occasionally? To allow oxygen from the air to enter inside the crucible for the complete combustion of magnesium. Alright, how do you ensure all magnesium reacted completely with oxygen? To this process of heating, cooling and weighing. So we repeat HCW process. So H stand for heating, C stand for cooling, and W stand for weighing, and is repeated until a constant mass of magnesium is obtained. Alright, so if the table is given, alright, so how to find the mass of magnesium? So we cut the mass of crucible. Alright, we cut the mass of crucible, we cut the mass of lid. So finally we can find the mass of magnesium. So we take 26.4 minus with 224.0, so we will get 2.4. Alright, how to find the mass of oxygen? So please remember, in the table don't write O2. So in the table please write element which is oxygen. Alright, so how to find the mass of oxygen? So we cut the mass of crucible, lid cut, magnesium cut, so we have oxygen. So we take 28.0 minus with 26.4, we will get 1.6. So find next step, we go for number of mole. So we take mass over molar mass. So the mass is 2.4 divided with 24, we will get 0.1 mole. Please write down the unit here. Alright, so next one, 1.6 divided with 16, we will get 0.1. So please write the unit here. Alright, so next we find the mole ratio. So how to find 0.1 divided with 0.1, we will get 1. Alright, 0.1 divided with 0.1, we will get 1. Alright, so when the empirical formula of magnesium is 1, so we put 1, oxygen 1, so erase the 1. So the formula will be MgO. Alright, another metal oxide that can replace magnesium oxide, that will be zinc oxide. Alright, so try to do more question on this part and we move on to the next part. Dear student, we try to go for another experiment to determine the empirical formula of copper 2 oxide, and this method is known as heating, alright, heating the metal oxide with dry hydrogen gas. Alright, so this metal oxide, okay, consists of less reactive metal. So the metal oxide in this experiment can be 2, which is copper 2 oxide. We can use copper 2 oxide or lead 2 oxide. So please remember this one, the copper 2 oxide, the symbol is CuO, and it is a black color. Alright, so basically in this experiment we will take a metal oxide reacted with dry hydrogen gas to produce metal plus water. Alright, so here we need to produce the hydrogen gas, so we need hydrochloric acid, or we can take any acid reacted with reactive metal like magnesium and zinc. Alright, so the function, so we need to suggest a metal X, so this metal X is magnesium or zinc. And when this metal magnesium or zinc react with hydrochloric acid, they will produce hydrogen gas. So this hydrogen gas we will use, alright, in this experiment to react with copper 2 oxide. Main equation will be what? The copper 2 oxide reacted with dry hydrogen gas, we will get copper and water. And please remember the method to produce hydrogen gas. We will use neutralization method, where acid reacted with reactive metal to produce salt and hydrogen gas. So in this case, so we have to name a reactive metal like magnesium or zinc. So here the hydrochloric acid is given. What is metal X? So the metal X is magnesium or zinc. Alright, so next, what is the function of metal X and concentrated hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas? How to write the equation? We write here. Alright, so hydrochloric acid, if let's say student name magnesium, how to produce this one? Hydrochloric acid, so hydrogen ion, chloride ion. So here I take magnesium ion. During chemical reaction, this one joins, so MgCl, take the 2, put here, so hydrogen gas. So balance the equation, I balance chlorine 2, so chloride 2, so hydrogen 2, hydrogen 2. That's how we produce hydrogen gas in this experiment. All right, so the hydrogen gas will be flow through this glass tube. So here we have copper 2 oxide. So the copper 2 oxide will react with hydrogen gas to produce copper and water molecule. Alright, so the explain why the hydrogen gas need to flow continuously for a while before the heating process of copper 2 oxide is conducted to remove all the air in the glass tube, because the mixture of hydrogen gas and air will explode when lighted up. Okay, explain why hot copper formed in this experiment is cooled in the stream of hydrogen gas. This is to ensure oxygen from the air does not oxidize the hot copper and form back copper 2 oxide. How do you ensure the process all copper 2 oxide reacted completely with dry hydrogen? The process of heating, cooling and weighing is repeated until a constant mass of copper is obtained. Alright, so by based on the table given, so we try to find the mass of copper. So I cancel the glass tube, the mass of copper is obtained. So 40.25 minus with 32.25, we will get 8.0. So how to find the mass of oxide? Alright, so we take the glass tube, we minus copper, we already get mass of oxide. So 42.25 minus with 40.25, so we will get the mass of oxide. Please write down oxide element, don't write O2. Alright, so next we try to find number of mole mass over molar mass. So we already get the number of mole, I already put the unit here. So the number of mole for oxide also obtained. Then I find the ratio mole 1 to 1. So the empirical formula is copper to oxide. Dear student, we try to check another type of qualitative and quantitative analysis. If let's say here they given us sodium react with oxygen, so in this part, this will be our reactant. Alright, this will be our product. Alright, so please remember 4 mole of sodium react with 1 mole of oxygen to produce 2 mole of sodium oxide. Alright, so qualitative analysis or terms, the reactant used is sodium solid and oxygen gas, and the product form is sodium oxide solid. Qualitative means we have to state the reactant and also the product form. Okay, quantitative analysis or terms will be 4 mole of sodium react. Alright, so we check 4 mole of sodium react with 1 mole of oxygen, produce 2 mole of sodium oxide. The answer given in the module, please go through. Alright, so next part we go for the empirical formula and how to find the molecular formula. Empirical formula given in the question and how to find the molecular formula. And molecular formula, we open bracket, we write down the empirical formula. We write down the empirical formula, we close the bracket, we put N symbol, we find the RMM value given in the question. So this is the RMM given in the question. Alright, so the empirical formula given in this question, if we try to check here CH2. So I open bracket, I put the empirical formula, then I put N, the RMM value is 70. I apply the RAM, which is 12 plus 2 times 1, close the bracket, we put 70. Alright, so this will be 14n equals to 70. So n will be 70 divided with 14, which is 5. Alright, so I write down, open the bracket, write down the empirical formula. I apply the n value, which is 5. Then I times with this one. Carbon will be 5, hydrogen will be 10. So this is the molecular formula given in the question. Alright, so we move on to the last question of this chapter. Find the percentage by mass of nitrogen. So nitrogen in ammonium sulfate. So first step, we find the RMM of ammonium sulfate. So here they put bracket, inside the bracket we have ammonium. So we put 2, we open bracket, nitrogen 14, 4 times 1 hydrogen, we close the bracket, Okay, so we put sulfur 32, then 4 times 16 will be oxygen. We find the RMM value. So this is 36 plus this one 32, and 4 times 16 will be 64. The value will be 132. Alright, so how to find the percentage of nitrogen by mass in ammonium sulfate? So in the ammonium sulfate, so please check the formula of ammonium sulfate. We have total 2 nitrogen. So we take 2 times with RAM of nitrogen, we divide with RMM of ammonium sulfate, and we times with 100 percentage. So we take 2 times with 14 the RAM of nitrogen. The RMM we already find here, so we put the answer 132. We times with 100 percentage. So the percentage of nitrogen will be 21.21 percentage, the answer given in the question in the module. All right, so we try to check another example of question how to find the percentage. All right, look at this question. What is the percentage composition of water by mass in hydrated iron 3 sulfate? So first step, I find the RMM of FeSO4 dot 7 H2O. Alright, iron is 56, sulfur is 32, so we put 4 times 16 oxygen, be plus, and please remember here got 7 water molecules, so I put 7, I open bracket, 2 times 1 plus 16. Alright, so the answer for this one will be 278. Alright, so next we check in this compound. In hydrated iron 2 oxide, we have total 7 water molecules. So we put 7 times with RMM of water molecule. Alright, divide with RMM of this whole compound FeSO4 dot 7 H2O. We times with 100 percentage to find the percentage composition of water by mass. Alright, so we take the 7, so we times, so here RMM of water, so 2 plus 16, that will be 18. So I put 18, so the RMM of all this compound is given here. So 278 times with 100 percentage. Alright, so the answer will be 45.32 percentage. So the answer for this question will be 45.32 percentage. So please practice and do more question. All right, students, so the other part in this module I will discuss in the second part of the video. So I hope you all can do more revision. Okay, please do more revision and study smart. All right, so take care, see you all in next slot.